1958 is the highest honor currently bestowed upon a non-graduate by the West Point Association of Graduates. The selected recipient must be an outstanding citizen of the United States whose service and accomplishments in the national interest exemplify personal devotion to the ideals expressed in the legendary West Point motto, duty, honor, country. The award is named for Sylvanus Thayer, class of 1808, Superintendent of the United States Military Academy at West Point from 1817 to 1833. Thayer is venerated as the father of the Military Academy for improving West Point's academic standards, instilling military discipline, and emphasizing honorable conduct, and his statue stands today in a place of honor on the historic plain at West Point. While the cadets assemble for the review, we would like to give you a brief history of the actions you will observe on the plain today. Military drill plays a fundamental role in the history of soldiering. Drill prepared troops for battle, and for the most part, drill procedures used in the days of old copied actual battlefield maneuvers. It was this realistic aspect of drill that made it such an important part of training. Even today, as new weapons call for new tactics, drill remains a necessary and useful training activity. Over 200 years ago, the problem of training an army already at war confronted the founders of our nation. George Washington's Continental Army, after continual losses to superior British forces, suffered from lack of organization, discipline, and teamwork. Washington recognized the poor state of morale and hired a distinguished Prussian officer who specialized in the instruction of drill and discipline. Baron von Steuben arrived at Valley Forge in the winter of 1778 to face an army of several thousand half-starved, ragged men. He immediately set to work writing drill regulations for a company of 120 soldiers chosen from various units in the Continental Army. Discipline soon became the cornerstone of the military life for the soldiers of the model company, as they learned to obey commands without hesitation. By mastering the art of drill through teamwork, the men developed a collective sense of pride in themselves and their unit. Observers watching the model company were astonished to see how quickly and orderly the troops formed and maneuvered into different battlefield formations. Later, General Washington distributed the members of the model company throughout the army to teach what they had been taught. Through this simple emphasis on drill, the effectiveness and efficiency of the Continental Army greatly improved. In 1779, to ensure continuity and uniformity, von Steuben wrote the American Army's first field manual, the regulations for the order and discipline of troops of the United States, commonly referred to as the Blue Book. You will see cadets saluting throughout the review on the command of present arms. Since the earliest of times, men of arms have used some form of salute as a means of greeting one another. In the age of chivalry, horse-mounted knights wore steel armor which completely covered the face and body. When two friendly knights met, they would each lift their visors with their right hand to expose their faces to each other and use their left hand to hold the horse's reins. Not only did this allow the knights to recognize each other, but it was also a deliberate movement from their sword hand away from their swords. Over time, this action became a significant gesture of friendship, camaraderie, and respect. The act of raising the right hand to the visor continued even after steel body armor became obsolete with the invention of modern firearms. Today, the most commonly observed form of this exchange is the hand salute, given as a recognition and friendly greeting to a comrade in the honorable profession of arms. For today's review, spectators are reminded to stand and render appropriate courtesies for the playing of honors and to the colors. It is appropriate for civilians to stand with the right hand placed over the heart. Veterans and currently serving forms of the U.S. Armed Forces who are not in uniform may render the hand salute. And when the colors pass your position, spectators are reminded not to smoke, refrain from loud talking, and to turn down cellular phones during the review. As a courtesy to others seated around you, kindly take all of your pictures from your seat throughout the ceremony. West Point is a highly vaccinated community. In order to keep cadets and visitors from across the nation-state, masks are required indoors on federal installations for all personnel. Unvaccinated individuals are asked to remain masked while on West Point. We would also like to remind everyone to please stay off the plane during the review and immediately following. Thank you. Currently assembled on the plane is the United States Military Academy Band and the band's field music group, the Hellcats. At the time of the American Revolution, the band consisted of a single drummer and fifer and has evolved into one of the most capable and professional performing groups in the world. As the oldest musical organization in the United States Army, the West Point Band has been inspiring America's leaders for over 200 years. The bugle call just heard was attention. It is used to alert the cadet commanders that the adjutant's call is about to sound, signaling the start of the review. Bugle calls are used in the military service of the United States as a direct result of the contact of the Continental Army with European soldiers and armies during the Revolutionary period. Marching in today's review are cadets from allied nations enrolled in the 4-year program at the United States Military Academy. Upon graduation, they will serve in the armed forces of their respective countries. Also marching in today's review are exchange midshipmen from the United States Naval Academy and cadets from the United States Air Force and Coast Guard academies. They are attending West Point for the fall semester. They can be identified by the uniform of their respective academies. A similar number of West Point cadets are attending the other service academies for the same period. The marches that will be played as the cadets march onto the plane are Under the Double Eagle and Woman of the Hour. The commander of troops for today's parade is the brigade commander, Cadet First Captain Holland Pratt from Liberty Lake, Washington. Her staff consists of the brigade deputy commander, Cadet Captain Anna Tovkoch from Gainesville, Florida, the brigade adjutant, Cadet Captain Kirsten O'Keefe from West Point, Iowa, the brigade executive officer, Cadet Captain Hannah Blakey from Detroit, Michigan, the brigade intelligence officer, Cadet Captain Noah Kim from Cascale, New Jersey, the brigade operations officer, Cadet Captain Travis Afuso from Mililani, Hawaii, the brigade logistics officer, Cadet Captain Sarah Guzzo from Battle Creek, Michigan, and the brigade information systems officer, Cadet Captain Zachary Bullock from Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. The reviewing party for today's review consists of Lieutenant General Darryl A. Williams, Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Class of 1983. Dr. Mae C. Jemison, the recipient of the 2021 Sylvanus Thayer Award. Lieutenant General Retired Joseph E. DeFrancisco, Chairman of the West Point Association of Graduates, Class of 1965. Brigadier General Mark C. Quanto, Commandant of the United States Corps of Cadets, Class of 1995. And Command Sergeant Major Kenneth Killingsworth, Command Sergeant Major of the United States Corps of Cadets. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for honors.
Please be seated. The inspections of the troops affords the commander the opportunity to inspect the discipline and readiness of the assembled units. As the commander approaches the unit, the commander of highest right is given to render honors as the commander passes their location. The march that will be played during the inspection of troops is Bugles and Drums. The United States Military Academy and the West Point Association of Graduates takes great pride in honoring the 2021 Sylvanus Thayer Award recipient, Dr. Mae C. Jemison. An audacious and pioneering polymath, Dr. Mae Jemison is at the forefront of integrating the physical and social sciences with art and culture to solve problems and foster innovation. Jemison leads 100 Year Starship, an independent, nonprofit global initiative seed funded through a competitive grant from the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency to ensure the capabilities for human travel to another star within the next 100 years and to enhance life on Earth. Jemison served 6 years as a NASA astronaut and is trained as an engineer, social scientist, and dancer. Jemison, a medical doctor, was the Area Peace Corps medical officer for Sierra Leone and Liberia. An educator, futurist, and leading voice for science and literacy, social responsibility, and sustainability, Jemison is a member of the National Academies of Medicine, the External Council for the NASA Innovative Advanced Concepts Program, and sits on Fortune 500 company boards, as well as the National Women's Hall of Fame board. She is a mini Lego figure and was the first real astronaut to appear on Star Trek: The Next Generation. As a professor at Dartmouth College, Jemison focused on technology designs for sustainability for both industrialized and developing nations. She founded 2 technology companies and the nonprofit Dorothy Jemison Foundation for Excellence, which designs and implements STEM education experiences impacting thousands of students and hundreds of teachers worldwide. In September of 2017, Jemison spearheaded Look Up to connect with people to space, Earth, and each other. West Point Association of Graduates Board Chairman, Lieutenant General U.S. Army retired Joseph E. DeFrancisco, class of 1965, said, "The West Point Association of Graduates is honored to present the Thayer Award to Dr. Jemison. Her visionary service as an astronaut, engineer, entrepreneur, physician, and educator is reflective of West Point's motto, duty, honor, country, and makes her eminently worthy of our highest award." Ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 Sylvanus Thayer Award recipient, Dr. Mae C. Jemison.
Pass and review.
The pass and review serves two functions for the Commandant. It dismisses the cadets and at the same time provides an opportunity to inspect the state of discipline and training. As the cadets pass and review before the reviewing party, members of each unit will turn their head and eyes and salute on the command, eyes right. The marches that will be played as the cadets pass and review are Washington Post, the official West Point March, Riders for the Flag, Stars and Stripes Forever, and The Army Goes Rolling Along. The United States Military Academy Band is under the direction of the commander, Lieutenant Colonel Todd Addison, with the drum major, Sergeant Major Glenn West. The 1st Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Donovan Hinton from Woodbridge, Virginia. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major James Beeler from Darien, Connecticut. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Jack Henry Noose from Tampa, Florida. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Enrique Gonzalez from Clarksville, Tennessee. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Mackenzie Cope from Orlando, Florida. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Allison Greet from Niceville, Florida. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Casey Noonan from Garden City, New York. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant R.J. Johnson from Jacksonville, Florida. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Michaela Lowe from Hendersonville, Tennessee. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Mary Bell from Alexandria, Virginia. The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Peyton Visconti from Midlothian, Texas. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Cameron Barlow from Harriman, Utah. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Creighton Wise from Davie County, North Carolina. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Amadou Ba from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Joseph Maddock from Hendersonville, North Carolina. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Vishnu Kumar from Corona, California. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Samuel Hepola from Kenfield, Ohio. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Tamar DeWild from Yuba City, California. The 3rd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Andrew Fonseca from Tawnytown, Maryland. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Greg Lair from Moline, Illinois. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Emily Robinson from Minot, North Dakota. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Benjamin Lockey from West Nyack, New York. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Maura Maled from Glendale, California. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Hassan Grimes from Syracuse, New York. Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain Nestor Grubb from Elizabethton, Tennessee. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Anastasia Nelson from Eastover, South Carolina. The 2nd Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Diego Soto from Missouri City, Texas. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Miriam Tolston from Commerce Township, Michigan. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Alexis Zamet from Princeton, New Jersey. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Rachel Forbes from DuPont, Washington. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Joseph Palumbi from Pico Rivera, California. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Caitlin Belvin from Aurora, Missouri. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Jack Ames from Atlanta, Georgia. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Brian Gonzalez Villa from Far Hills, New Jersey. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Charles Marashlian from North Caldwell, New Jersey. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Alexandra Kajigal from Davenport, Iowa. The second battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Hunter Cochran from Grapevine, Texas. The battalion command sergeant major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Jonathan Meinke from Jackson, Missouri. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Thomas Hilt from Toledo, Ohio. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Connor McGirt from Marietta, Georgia. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Jolie Dwan from Houston, Texas. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Von Hahn from Lubbock, Texas. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Mercy Allen from Kent, Washington. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Eddie Cruz from Norwich, Connecticut. The third battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Austin Chambers from Plano, Texas. The battalion command sergeant major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Emily Donalo from Clifton Park, New York. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Alexander Amaya from Mason, Ohio. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant James Burrows from Clovis, New Mexico. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Joe Popek from Greensboro, North Carolina. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Faye Jessup from Brownsburg, Indiana. Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain Brandon Roy from Spencer, Maryland. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Sebastian Balcazar from Haledon, New Jersey. Since the days of the American Revolution, flag bearers have been an important element in ceremonies. At the center of today's formation and bearing the national color is the United States Corps of Cadets Color Guard, led by Cadet Color Sergeant Gabriella Merrily from West Point, New York. Marching with the colors of the Brigade Command Sergeant Major, Cadet Command Sergeant Major Richard Russell from West Point, New York.
The 3rd Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Ansley Burrell from Albuquerque, New Mexico. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Danielle Cross from Normal, Illinois. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Caroline Vincent from Newport Beach, California. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Amy Chicot from Blairsville, Georgia. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Nicholas Mazzaro from Long Island, New York. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Margaret Williams from Greenwich, Connecticut. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Aaron Duhart from Richmond, Virginia. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Gus Ruth from Waco, Texas. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Brian Spencer from Knoxville, Virginia. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Trayvon Nichols from Cibolo, Texas. The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Reed Bauer from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Zorian Flowers from Chicago, Illinois. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Matthew Horace from Easttown, Pennsylvania. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Luke Massisak from Cleveland, Ohio. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Andrew Hitt from Kansas City, Missouri. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Mark Malone from Downeyville, California. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Katie King from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Isabella Rowling from Clifton, Virginia. The third battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Allison Ingram from Virginia Beach, Virginia. The battalion command sergeant major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Brenna Bowman from Canadu, North Dakota. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Adam Black from Greensboro, North Carolina. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Carly Moore from Temple, Texas. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain James Calloway from St. Louis, Missouri. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Annalise Callahan from UN, Michigan. Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain Rachel Rittler from Fayetteville, North Carolina. The first sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Nicole Kayum from Augusta, Georgia. The 4th Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Kennedy Warren from Rowlett, Texas. Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Connor Murphy from Fairfax, Virginia. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Conrad Babra from Los Angeles, California. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Ava Luskin from Long Valley, New Jersey. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Chuck Conway from Pelham, New York. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Alexander Lyson from Cleveland, Ohio. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Andrew Ziedler from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Larry Williams from Clayton, North Carolina. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Clara Bartram from Kensington, Maryland. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Louis Alfett from Benicia, California. The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Devin Greenfield from Nashville, Tennessee. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Christina Hughes from State College, Pennsylvania. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Rachel Carlton from Christiana, Delaware. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Parker Wilson from Manhattan, Kansas. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Mikel Acevedo from Brooklyn, New York. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Alma Cooper from Okemos, Michigan. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Brennan Colson from Granite Bay, California. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Corey Rayleigh from Huntington, Maryland. The 3rd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Kaylee Conrad from Reno, Nevada. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Mikhail Kamienski from Białystok, Poland. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Clayton Porcaro from Richland, Washington. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Sidney Shannon from Brenton, Washington. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Christopher Jin from Paramus, New Jersey. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant McKinley Smith from Culpeper, Virginia. Company I is commanded by Cadet Captain Emily Iannotti from Cypress, California. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Jack Felger from Falls Church, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song, "The Army Goes Rolling Along." Please feel free to sing along as it is played. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's review. As you leave the stands, please remain off the plane and exit along the sidewalk by Doubleday Field toward Ike's statue. Thank you for attending and enjoy the rest of your evening.